everyone, welcome to your first S.P.A.G revision video. So our first area is all about modal verbs. If you are in Key Stage 2, there are linked resources on the website, so a worksheet that you could complete if you choose to after this. Key Stage 3 doesn't mean you can't access it. All the revision for these grammar areas is still really important for you to be keeping up with as well. Modal verbs then. Hopefully for a lot of you that is familiar. It's recalling some of the learning that you have already done in class or year 6 for instance, not just class, you also had this in one of your homework grammar booklets. Modal verbs, we know what a verb is, it's a doing or being word. Modal verbs help us give more information about a verb. They come before the verb, that's really important to know, and they are a little group of words that we can add to sentences. So modal verb helps us to show possibility, probability of something going to happen. So it can tell us that something is definite, certain, or potentially, possibly going to happen. So I've got 2 examples here for you. My class, you're welcome. Mrs McKinnon could eat the cheese. Mrs McKinnon will eat the cheese. So if you're looking at these 2 sentences, really think for a moment to yourself, what is the difference between those 2? Now hopefully you have picked out a word in each. Let me just get my pen ready. So in sentence 1, this little word here, could eat the cheese, compared to will eat the cheese in sentence 2, changes the meaning of that sentence. Could tells me I may or may not do it. It's possible that I can. Will, however, is definite. That means later on I will definitely be eating some cheese. Shock horror. So that is the difference between these 2. With those 2 little words, we can change the meaning of a sentence. Just going to give you a couple of seconds now. Can you think of any other words like could or will that can change the meaning of a sentence? Right, so some of the words that you've maybe thought about or said aloud if you're watching with someone may have included shall, might, there's our could again, will again, may, would, ought, must, should and can. These are the most common modal verbs that we use either in written or spoken English day by day. Now we can add some other little words to modal verbs to make them negative. So I could say I really should do my homework. I can add another word, not, to that sentence. I should not currently socialise with my family, for instance. So I should not, I could not, I will not, I may not, I must not. Okay, so we can make those sentences negative as well. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, as I said, modal verbs come before a verb. They're little helpers. So if you think could eat, may consume, will munch, all to do with cheese again, they come before that main verb, eat, consume, munch. So those little helpers come before to give us more information about that verb. We have 3 main ways that we can use modal verbs then. Just want you to have a little think. If we say we must not do something, you must do something, you should not do something, how are we using that modal verb there? Have a little think for 5 seconds or speak to the person that you're with. So the way they're used there is to give a command. You must not, you must, you should not, for instance. That is how we can use them there to give commands telling someone what they should or should not do. If I say, for the second way that we use them, I can eat cheese really well. How is that being used in that sentence, that modal verb? So maybe you've thought or suggested it's showing my ability. Naya and Abby, if you're tuning into this video, this one's for you. I can sing really well. Some members of my English class cannot sing very well at all. You know who I'm talking about. So can, cannot, it's showing that ability there of being able to do something. Now the third and final way is slightly different to those other two. It's where we're asking, using those modal verbs, for permission. So may I leave the table? Could I have some more dinner please? They're asking permission using those verbs. Remember the difference between may and can, and English teachers are always on this. Can I go to the toilet? We always say sarcastically, I'm sure you can, compared to may I go to the toilet. That is asking that permission to leave and go to the toilet at that time. So with that in mind, thinking about what we have learnt, in the following sentence, where is the modal verb? I shall catch the bus to your house. I shall catch the bus to your house. And hopefully you've picked out catch is the modal verb there. In the second sentence, we will not be visiting Cornwall this year. Where is the modal verb there? We will not be